want to bring in our guest. It's Pride Month, and I'm so proud of everyone. It's Pride Month. It's June. And I want to welcome, I want to give a warm welcome to Kelley Robinson, the head of the Human Rights Commission. Hello, Kelley. How you doing?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. I'm listening to you getting fired up because this is a
And ready
reminder
to
of why
go.
we got to fight. Oh my goodness.
But can you believe all of this mess? Well, yes, you can.
I no, I remain surprised. I know what you said we shouldn't be,
No,
but
Bernice King said that.
I am every day I'm shocked at the levels of lowness that they can find. They're dragging us all the way to hell. I just can't believe it.
You ain't dragging me to hell. Mm-mm. I'm
That's
trying to get
right.
my wings. Mm-mm. Let me tell you, I'm on my knees daily for them wings, especially with this. I will say this administration drives you to drink and to cuss. Drink tea. Ah, you like that. So listen. So Kelley, you wrote an op-ed, and I want to focus on another community. We talk about the Black and Brown community so much, but I want to focus in on our brothers and sisters in the community, the family, the LGBTQ plus community. You wrote an op-ed, Pride is Patriotism. Tell me, I know it. I believe we're all patriotic in our own way, but tell us why you say that.
Look, I am defiant about this, especially right now. And I'm not claiming that America is perfect, but if you say that she is not ours, especially queer folks and Black and brown folks that built this country brick by brick, you got another thing coming. And I think something important is happening right now as we approach the 250th birthday of the United States of America, as you have this dictatorship reigning over us. They're trying to define who can call themselves an American and who cannot. And I'm not
Right.
willing to give up my stake or my claim to this country. I'm just
And
not.
who's a patriot? That's right.
Exactly, exactly. And some of the proudest moments for me in American history are seeing when the power of the people overcome our worst instincts to get us to a more perfect union. And that's always been led in the civil rights movement, in the fight for immigrant rights, in the fight for environmental justice, and yes, in the fight for queer rights too. So I think that that's a story that we have to tell because if we don't, it's going to be stolen from us.
Okay, so while you were talking, you know what I thought about Bayard Rustin, the man
Yes.
who was friends with Dr. He was Uncle Bayard for many of the children, for the children of Dr. King. He helped Dr. King with the 1963 March on Washington. I'm thinking about that reflecting pool that Donald Trump messed up. Um, but he was in the community. And let me tell you, everyone is everywhere. I don't want anybody, neighbors in the church house, the schoolhouse, the everywhere
Tell it.
in the Republican Party.
That's right. That's right.
So talk to me about that. Because you guys had a campaign that you went around the country having to tell people who you are. I loved it, but I hated the fact that you had to do it.
Yeah, I understand that. We were on the American Dreams tour, and actually, I'm calling in today from LA, where we're screening this film called Reclaim the Flag. And it's all about documenting stories of
Mhm.
LGBTQ plus people and how we wrestle with holding both of these identities. But Bayard Rustin comes up for me all the time. You wouldn't
Mm.
have the March on Washington without Bayard Rustin and
Say
Al
it.
Man, right? I mean, I think about James Baldwin and the impact that he made on arts and culture. Sure, I think about Tracy Chapman. We wouldn't
Come
have the
on.
fast
I
car
love
without
her.
Tracy Chapman.
Fast cars.
There's so many examples of how queer people have been a part of every social justice movement, every fight, every poem, every cultural moment. And we have to tell that story. And I think this wrestling that we're doing right now, it's not just about, the July 4th that's coming up. It's actually a deeper conversation of what is it going to take for the nation to live up to her promise to us, and what are we willing to commit to being a part of that?
So let me say this to you. And I've told a few people this. I want to do April in Paris around April in Paris in April around Easter. And I want to follow James Baldwin's
Mm.
footsteps in Paris. I want to follow the Harlem Renaissance writers' footsteps in Paris because they found freedom there.
Yes.
versus the freedom that they had here. And if you know about some places, let me know because I really, it's not about the fact that they were gay. I write, I'm an author. I've got my fifth book coming out in October, and I want to do my own pilgrimage with the Black authors from the Renaissance, and he's one of them in
That's
Paris.
amazing. And he wrote a lot about what it meant for him to live in Paris and not feel like the weight of homophobia and racism was on his shoulders all the time. And I
Yeah,
just think about that freeness. Like what sort of creativity and imagination could we
yeah,
unleash if we weren't carrying around all the racism and homophobia and sexism all day, every day?
yeah,
And we get glimpses of it, right? When we can be our whole selves, whether it's at a pride parade or down at the gay bar. And what I'm trying to say is that feeling that folks have there, that feeling of freeness, of
yeah.
fullness, of autonomy, you should get that everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what? Katie says, I'm going to the chat. Katie says James Baldwin saw America very clearly. But and speaking of that, I think about people like I'm gonna bring it up because she wrote it in her book, Valerie Jarrett, who was the neck for the president,
Yes.
turning his head, Barack Obama. Her parents, because they could not um, because they could not they were oppressed by racism. They had to move out of the country to do the work that they were trained to do, they were educated to do. And I'm thinking about that now. I've got my therapist wants to move away from here because of the oppression.
Wow.
She's a Jewish woman. There are a lot of people who remember we heard when Donald Trump comes back, came back, I'm moving to Portugal, I'm moving here. A lot of people, that was that time that's back here again. Why James Baldwin moved, why a lot of people went to Paris for the freedom that they didn't
Right.
have here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
so
that's what we've
AJ,
got to
go
fight to
ahead. I'm sorry.
reclaim. And I also think another thing that James Baldwin wrote is that I love America more than any other nation in the world, and that's why I criticize her relentlessly. And we have to own that actually the spirit of protest and charging this nation be better is uniquely American. Like that is
It
our
is.
patriotic duty in a democracy.
It is. It is. That's what democracy is.
Right.
Peacefully protesting and demonstrating. But those in charge don't like it. So AJ says, not insignificant number of those who screamed the loudest and the shrillest about the homosexual agenda were perfectly described centuries ago. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 2. Come on, AJ.
Woo-hoo! With some
Come
hot
on.
tea.
Act 3, Scene 2.
Somebody looking at Chrissy Noam's husband. Oh,
Oh my God. Well, that's a whole nother thing. And John says, and many black jazz musicians had to go to Europe to achieve fame and then could come back to the US and get work. People
mm,
don't know this history. I'm so glad it
it's
just
so
came up on a
important.
whim. We're talking that, but see, that's what happens when you communicate and you talk openly without any kind of barriers with people. That's what this conversation, that's why we sip the tea, so you know the truth. So let me
Yeah.
ask you, yeah, and I'm so thankful. This is your second time sipping tea with me, Kelly. Come
I
on.
love it. I love it. It's piping hot today.
That's right. We're knocking the pot over. So listen, Friday, 2 days before Donald Trump's was it two? Yeah, 2 days before Donald Trump's 80th birthday and the UFC match. It's an anniversary.
Mm.
And we have to mark that. We can't worry about that UFC match. We have to mark the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. 10 years. 10 years. Talk to me about that. 49 people killed. Trump was running for president in the summer of 2016, beginning his hateful rhetoric. Talk to me about that.
It again, to the point of like, I don't want to lose the surprise feeling. I don't want to lose the shock and I don't want to lose the sadness because we can't get hardened to what happened in 2016 at Pulse nightclub. 49 people were killed that night. Their lives were stolen. Most of them were there for a Latin night. So most of these are Black and Brown members of the LGBTQ plus community. And right now, Ron DeSantis is hard at work trying to remove every memorial from Pulse and trying to get rid of rainbow sidewalks and crosswalks. Come on, y'all.
Yes, not trying. He is doing it.
Right, right. And just to think of what an insult that is to not honor and celebrate the lives of the people that we lost in such a horrific way, but instead to stay on a political agenda. And that to me pulls out the contrast of America at this point. You've got a cruelty and extremism on one side that is unbearable. And on the other side, you have people that are seeking humanity and dignity for every person. What side do you want to be on?
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge, as you say, what side do you want to be on? What's the biggest challenge right now for our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ plus community?
I think there are two. The Human Rights Campaign Foundation, we did a poll of the LGBTQ plus community to really see like how are folks doing? How are we feeling after Donald Trump? And look, the Cliff Notes are that LGBTQ plus people are worse off in nearly every way. But one of the really scary things is that nearly half of the community has gone back into the closet in one area of their lives. And this is at a time when almost 30% of Generation Z identify as a member of the community. 10% of adults in this country identify as a member of the community, but they're afraid to be who they are out loud and in public. It looks more similar to the 1990s than what it should be in our Lord's year 2026. And the reason to me that is so dangerous is because if people can't come out and be who they fully are and claim their identity, it gets harder and harder to fight for our rights. And right now, our rights are fragile. Like I got to remind folks, there's only one Supreme Court decision, the Bostock decision, that stops you from getting fired for having a picture of me and my wife on my desk in my cubicle. There's only one Supreme Court law case that does that.
And happy anniversary. I saw your pictures recently. Happy
Oh,
anniversary.
thank you. Yeah, my wife, she's a baddie, ain't she? But
She's
even that,
cute.
Obergefell
Yeah.
is 10 years old. We've only been able to get married in this country for the last 10 years. We got to be clear that our rights are fragile and we got to keep fighting for them. And we got to keep showing pictures of our booze and celebrating.
So wait a minute, let me take that back. You said she's a baddie. I said she's cute. I'm married to my husband, honey. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm good. So anyway.
We saw that wedding. Okay, you did
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah, let me tell you, I'm blessed. So look, at the end of the day, for young people, and this has been, I remember the first time when Donald Trump was running, I spoke at a school and there was these high school seniors, juniors, and seniors, and some of them in the crowd were uh, on the cusp of moving into their authenticity.
Mhm.
Some were talking about wanting to be transgender, and they said they were afraid because they were changing insurance because they couldn't do certain surgeries. Is that still an issue now?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, you've seen hospitals across the country stop providing gender affirming care. And in fact, this Trump administration has actually subpoenaed to get data and records of people who have gotten gender affirming care. Not only the people, but their parents and their family members too. They have a criminal subpoena moving right now in New York and several other states. And the reason this is so dangerous is you got to remember where we've come from. You remember the 80s, right? And the AIDS crisis. People wouldn't go to get treatment for HIV and AIDS because they were fearful that their data would get released and they would lose their jobs, lose their lives, or lose their families. We know how government weaponizes healthcare data. So that's only one element of the attacks. From the healthcare crisis that we find ourselves in, to the incidents of violence in communities, to the instability of the world, it's not an easy place right now. And I hear
Oh,
that and I really do embrace people that are trying to find a way in the path of all this to still claim their authentic identities.
so you said it's not an easy place right now. And I'm going to ask you this last question. Is there any red state that's safe for someone who is out and proud and loud?
Well, let me say this. I don't think it's a red state versus blue state problem. You got to remember O'Shea Sibley, right, was murdered in New York a couple of years ago, a
Mm.
black gay man. You got to remember Lori Carlton. She was a straight woman flying a pride flag outside her store, and someone shot and killed her in California.
Mm.
So this isn't a red state or blue state thing. This is a call for us all to say, like, look, if they can do this to the trans community, if they can do this to LGBTQ plus people, this could happen to any of us. We have to have a higher level of expectation, especially in politics, about people maintaining the basic dignity and humanity for every single person. When we do that, when we change the rhetoric, when we start controlling gun violence, then I think that the culture eases out.
So at the end of the day, anyone who is not a white male evangelical nationalist, we got to watch out.
Look, it is the truth, but let me leave you with this. As hard as things are right now, one, we still have made a whole lot of progress. Look, I'm a black queer woman in America. If you've got a time machine, don't go sending me back to the 1960s because you think I want to go to Woodstock and it was cute. Don't do that. Like, I've got more rights today than the generation that came before me. I can be married, I can have a kid, I can have a job. And people are running to this fight. Look, the Human Rights Campaign has grown by 1 million members in the last 2 years. So at
Mhm.
a time when we are under the most intense attacks that we've seen in a generation, folks aren't running away from the fight, they're running towards it. And we
Yeah.
can't get disheartened. We got to build on that momentum because I think that this November, you are going to see a new mandate for change and a new mandate for equality and a kicking out of all this old stuff, starting with the orange one.
We know who that is. He was in that Kristen Welker interview. He was a different shade of orange. He was like red orange. He didn't look healthy. I digress. But let me but let me say this. I hate the fact, I understand it, but I hate the fact that you have to pronounce that I'm a black queer woman. I see you. I hate the fact that I have to announce I'm a black woman.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that. I hate that we are who we are. We are in community together. I think you are a bad sister. Period. And I think you already know that. Period. End of story. And I hate that we have to put labels on us. And
Hmm.
that further stigmatizes us. And I don't like that. But at the end of the day, how do people contact you and your organization and all that you're doing so they can help you have equality and level your playing
Yes.
field? Yeah.
And I feel you, April Ryan, I feel you. And I think one of the things that you've shown us is that when all this wild stuff is happening, the most powerful thing you can do is own your story and tell your truth. And through doing that, that's how we change hearts and minds and shift the tide and all this craziness that's happening. So I want to invite folks to do that with us at the Human Rights Campaign. You can find us at hrc.org. We're Human Rights Campaign or HRC on every social media platform. But come on and get involved. Look, I think that change is going to come, and I don't want people to miss out. All right. I want you to be a part of this because something special, I think, is about to occur in the face of all this cruelty. We're actually going to be able to see a transformation that's been generations in the making.
What's that song? I was born by the river.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. And I'll go downtown, whatever. A change is gonna come.
A
Yes.
change is
I
going to
believe a
come.
change is gonna come because people are hurting.
Right.
White people, white farmers,
Mm.
black people, brown people, Africans. I mean, people, Jewish, a lot, the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, you just gave me a whole layer of understanding I didn't know. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't know. And we need to continue having these conversations with you. Please come back and sip the tea with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Always, always, Kelley. You can look, you can call me anytime. We'll talk.
Okay. All
All
right.
right, girl.
Sip a little
Tell
tea.
your wife I said hey.
I will. Take care.
Thank you, Kelley.
Bye.
Mm-mm.